Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Master32210, and I figured I'd pass on this creative idea, kind of a new build, goofing around in the shop. So without further ado, let's flip the camera around and see what we got going on. This is a project of mine. Actually, let me rephrase that. This is a project I bought from somebody about a year and a half ago. This is a motorized bike. And it looked pretty cool and the price was right. It was about a year and a half ago, give or take, not long when I moved out here from selling the old house. I bought this for $75. Complete running bike. He had done some creative work, as you can see, with the front end. And it looked pretty cool, and I rode around a handful of times just around here. But it's been sitting up for almost the entire time. Not long ago, I went ahead and brought it out. Had to unstick the carburetor, got it fueled up, and then it started running perfect. But I realized this thing is more work than what it's worth. As you can notice, he took the original forks and welded another set of forks, which gave it a unique angle. But with a small, tiny seat that it had on here, and it sat a lot lower than this, when you would hit bumps, it would kind of want to flip you back. And the reason I have it parked right here on the ramp is another major problem is when it's all the way down on a level surface, kickstands are not long enough. But after riding it around, there's just a little too many things. I like the look of the front end, but I wanted to do something different with it. I got looking on here too. Let me see if we can kind of look right here. If you notice, that is part of the bearings and the cage that's hanging out. That wasn't no good. There's no front brakes, only a rear, and they're not really even really worthy to try to stop this machine. The seat came off of today's project. It's a lot more comfortable than what was on here. Made the bike handle a lot better, but after thinking about the rear brakes, the front end, these bearings, I really don't need all the extra gears this one's got, so that way I can create my own project that I can call truly mine. I decided to go ahead and get rid of this, and I'm going to keep the frame and all for it. It'll go into my stash pile, but I think we're going to do something a little different, and this is what I'm talking about right here. There's numerous videos on YouTube, people building motorized bikes, so of course I have to give mine their own custom unique touches. So I got looking at this. First major fault, you will see that this is a girl's frame. That's really the major fault. This is a girl's style frame, where on the boys frame you would have a bar that has a curve to it coming here. Then these would extend and tie in somewhere up there. But I got thinking overall, I like the white walls. I got white walls front and back. They're just extremely dirty. The rims are in good condition, not really major rust, only right down here in the little hubs. If you can kind of see, that's in there. I like the fenders, so I got thinking, well, what could I do? I do want to play around in the future once I get set up and relocated to the newest of the shops where I'll be permanently housed. I do want to play around making custom bike frames. I figure this is probably going to be the next step for me. So I figured, how can we use this frame? There's not enough motor space for the motor in there. Then I came up with hopefully a creative idea. I got digging around in the hoard, and this is from a project that I'm not going to show in this video. That was basically a so-called exhaust pipe. I turned around, cut the muffler off, and I left it longer than it needs to be right now. And what my idea is, why don't I come in here and let's cut this tube out and just affix from approximately here to this location. We'll just affix a new tube. That should give me plenty of motor clearance, and we can kind of go from there. Hopefully this frame, it should be strong. I'm going to leave all this in place. So we'll just redo a new top tube, and let's completely transform the look of this bike. I think the fenders I definitely want to keep. I'm not sure if we're going to try to clean them up and keep the white, or if we're going to paint them. The rims, I decided I'm going to paint the rims. I don't really want an ordinary looking bike. I was thinking let's kind of do a little ratty colors on here. Let's do some red wheels. We'll keep the white wall tires. Not fond of this style handlebars, even though they look comfortable. Kind of like these. I kind of like a little bit smaller bar going up. But in the future, we are going to come revisit this project if we get this thing running, and we're going to do a lot more changes. So I'm thinking today, let's go ahead. We'll pull these bars off, pull the rims and tires, prep everything for paint. But I think in the beginning, let's start with square one. Let's go ahead and get this top bar cut off and see about fabbing in a new bar. Well, as you've seen in the other clips, let me make sure y'all are in frame. I believe so. What I ended up doing, went ahead and cut the tube out. Now I'll have to show you this up close, but right here is the last remnants of the tube, and it's got a bead weld around, and right in the center of it there's a small hole leading into this, I guess it'd be called a seat tube. I went ahead and cut this down, and it is approximately a quarter of an inch too long. And that's because I'm sitting there playing with it, just trying to get an idea. If it's plausible to come back to the little stub out on the top, on the fork tube, I should, in theory, just have to fish mouth this end, shorten it up and fish mouth it a little, and I should be able to get a nice even, nice butt weld. And that's what I'm thinking about how we're gonna do this. Just lay it in kind of like that, which will basically almost take it back to boy style bike. And that's it's going to be cutting it close on the motor, give or take, but I think what I ought to do is go ahead, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull the motor off that bike and try to set it in here and get a good idea to make sure that this is going to work. If it is going to work, then we have a great video coming up. So it doesn't matter that I went ahead and cut this frame, because if nothing else, like I said, I am going to start doing custom frames, so this isn't going to hurt me right now. This is basically, as I took the seat off, I considered it a parts bike, but I figure why not, let's try to make this into a nice rideable bike and make it as chop shop custom style. It ain't worth playing with if we didn't cut it and weld it ourselves. So let me go ahead and pull the motor off the other one, and I'll go ahead and stick it on here loosely. Now I might need to go ahead and grind this down. That's probably what I'll do, is pull that motor, grind this off, try to get it back to a smooth tube. We'll set the motor in here and bring our new top tube in and see how that looks. Alright, here's 20 minutes later. Finally got the motor freed up, and I had to take the back wheel off, undo the coil, a lot of stuff. And I just noticed a lot more stuff that that I think I'm glad I decided to go ahead and pull it off, put it to this frame, start fresh, give myself a new idea, kind of go with my own theme. He's a good guy, I'm not going to sit here and talk mess about him, but like I was wondering why there was baling wire holding this on. Either he couldn't thread it on or he cross-threaded it, so I'm going to find that out. When it's time to put the slide back in there, there was thread-in rod, not rod. It's a thread-in style bolt that is double-sided, two different style threads, that this bolts up. There was issues with that. I might have to put a spacer in between that and the other half. I'll have to see as everything goes on. So at least the motor does sit in there, and it will sit quite low. I've got spacing over here on this side of the case. I just need to spin the crank around and make sure it's going to clear the exhaust, which it should. But I am going to do a different style exhaust on this. Sorry, let me get turned around. I got so much junk out here I need to clean up. I think that's actually going to look killer. Like I said, I'm not even sure if this has been done before. I think this is going to be the first. Most people just go out and buy a bicycle appropriate. I decided I'd just rather build my own. So at least we know the motor fits in there. What I'm going to do is finish stripping down the other bike, and I'll go ahead and bag up all the nuts and bolts. So I want to keep everything together. I have the sprocket over there, so we'll have to do that. Since I got to undo the sprocket, it might just get painted as well. The rims are going to get painted, the whole frame I got welding to do. Only thing I have left here is I want to remove the handlebars and get this wiring off. And there's a throttle and a clutch, which since I am going to use these bars for right now, I decided I'm going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and just pull the whole handlebars as is. I'll go ahead and pull the throttle off just to relieve the rear brake lever, which I went ahead and cut the cable. It's just easier to get it off. Keep my seat, and we'll go from there. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and continue. Let me go ahead and finish this up, put these parts in a box, bag up all these nuts and bolts. We have the gas tank and the coil right there. So I'll go ahead and get all this stuff put away for right now as I'm fabricating, and we have to start up plan A, which is we got the idea. But now we need to go ahead and tack up this frame. Once it's tacked up, looking good, then we'll go ahead and actually strip it and go from there. Or I'm sorry, build the frame. And what I mean by strip it is we're not going to use these handlebars, so these can go. The wheels need to come off. They need to be taken apart. Everything broken down to bare frame. Then we'll start painting, and then of course the best part is reassembly. Well, I figured went ahead and got the other bike fully stripped, got everything I wanted to keep off of it. So I got looking at this bike, and let me get you guys in frame. Apologize. So I got looking at this one, and I just don't like these handlebars. I've never have liked this style, the real wide ones. Simple little slit, and we'll remove. Trying to work out here. Let's see. All right, and we got bars for the extras pile, and let's take. We got the originals, or the original ones from the other bike. Let's see how to manipulate these. Get the kickstand to sit without tipping us over. I think I like that look already. Let me grab a wrench. I'll tighten these up, figure out exact placement, and we'll bring you guys back. I think a little piece of sandpaper, we can get that cleaned up. We took away the old tube that was welded here to the seat post. Just got to smooth that out a little bit. Went ahead and started cleaning up some paint, powder coat, whatever this is. I'm thinking it's just paint. Went ahead and cleaned up an area. Might need to hit it up a little bit more. Go ahead and open it so we can get a good penetration weld on our new tube. And I got to get this cleaned up a hair more, but this is the original front tube, so we have that cut off as well. Right here, I'll just have to do a spot tack weld just to get this closed up, keep moisture from getting down in here. But that's it. So the next part, we're going to come around. There's a mark right here on this tube where I know I should be cut, but what I did is went ahead and left it a hair longer because I know I need to fish mouth it. I will cut some of that off, get a good fish mouth on there, and I'll bring you back, show you it sitting in place, just really test fitting it. Well, I went ahead and got the fish mouth cut. It was a hair off, but it's alright. I can fill that in with some weld. And it's not like a typical boys beach cruiser frame, men's, whatever you want to say it. I don't know. I wouldn't call this customized even after I painted and everything, but it is a change up. So it is possible to take a girl's frame and do something a little different. Need to clean up a hair where the back weld's going to go, but I got the front, should be great right now. So I believe the next step is going to be go ahead and busting out with a welder. I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. I'll go ahead and like I said, pop out with a welder. Go ahead, and after that, I don't know if I'm going to bring you back during the disassembly or how we're going to do all that, but think I'm ready to go ahead and get that welded in. I'll go ahead and knock that out quick because I at least want to get this thing broken down and start hanging it up so we can get the frame clean. I noticed I removed one sticker here, which I'll take out the last of the residue. There was another sticker up here, and I just happened to notice there's a Huffy one on the inside. Yeah, I want to go ahead and remove all those because, like I said, I mean, it's not a good frame. I mean, it's not a, I guess it would have been a pretty frame cleaned up. I just don't want blue, not for this build. I'm trying to keep in the spirit of my shop, and I think what I'll do is turn around, wire wheel all this, get all the beginning of the rust off. I'll wire wheel it. But let me go ahead and get back to work. Like I said, I'm just bringing you guys back as I get some updates on what I'm getting done. So definitely, like I said, I guess nothing else. I'll go ahead and get this thing welded in, and time to start getting the wheels off, getting the chain off, getting a little bit of this and that done, and go ahead and getting all this knocked out. Well, here she goes, completely stripped down, ready for cleanup. Get the last couple decals off of it, get the frame. Take all this algae off of it. Went ahead and welded all this up, and I'm actually going to kind of leave the welds. I kind of like the look of the industrial part of just leaving what was added on. I think it was actually nifty. So this is done. I think I'm going to cut the video here. I don't know, we might continue. I don't know how long I'm going to make this video. Thought about doing it 2 parts, but I'm not going to bother showing the cleanup process. All I'm going to do is a very soft wire wheel, probably put it on my drill, just knock everything off. So the paint to here, we're going to knock that rust off. And well, this is one of the goodies. I bought this 2 years ago or more. Been saving it for a project. Let's not try to lose everything like I'm doing, but I figure I'll show you. Couldn't really find I'm not sure what color exactly, so I decided to go with a gloss candy apple red for the wheels and a satin canyon black for the body. Haven't figured out the color of the fenders, what we're gonna do, chain guard, etc. So I'm gonna kind of leave that suspense for right now. So next is next. Let me go ahead and get all this cleaned up. We'll be back in the video window in like a second, and hopefully you will see this thing hanging up in the air and getting painted. Well, I decided that we're just going to go ahead and make this one video because I have multiple videos planned for this. It's all together. I went ahead and I finished painting it, assembling the motor, everything on this unit. Now I have a lot more ideas for this. You can see the raggedy seat. This was originally belonged to this bike. I have another video on that. We're gonna kind of recover that. I found some materials at the local thrift store. That's going to be an awesome seat. So I have something for that. I have something for the handlebars. I'm not gonna turn around and purchase ape hangers for this one. I kind of wanted to have some fun extending those myself using another set of old handlebars, but that's for another video. I had the wiring hooked up yesterday. I was trying to test fire it. Not sure what was going on, if it's a spark issue or not sure if it's a spark issue. I don't think it's fuel because the fuel line is slap full. It's on. Fuel filter is full. I didn't show this, but I went ahead, even though these do come with the internal fuel filter, I went ahead and just put one on here. A lot of guys recommend just going in here and taking the internal one out. I kind of want to just go ahead and have a secondary one. I figure it can't hurt. So, I mean, for the most part, this one is together, and I'm digging it. I do need to clean it. When I took the wheels off, I didn't even honestly realize these were the thick white walls. I thought they were the little thin ones. I'm going to wash the white walls off, probably give them a good bleaching. My main thing is go ahead and get this thing together. Now that I got it together, I'll do it off camera, get the motor to fire up, get it going. I got a lot of other little stuff planned, but I figure we can make a YouTube series of these. I mean, why not? This is something I kind of enjoyed, getting away from the ordinary And I think later on what I want to actually start doing is kind of think about start making my own custom bicycle frames. Something we can go with a little more extravagant, something a little bit more pizzazz, and start getting into more of the wild, wild thing on these. I want to do something bigger, longer frames, but I do dig the 26-inch. One of my employees that works actually has a new mountain bike style with 30-inch wheels. I thought that was awesome. Like, they're just fabulous. Like, I love how big they are. And I was looking at his bike and I told him, be careful, I might steal your wheels, just laughing with him. But in the end, what I would actually like to do is I want to make something that's super long and low slung, but motorized. Well, guys, if you kind of enjoy this, if you like the look of this bike, give me a thumbs up. Pound that thumbs up like button. Leave me some comments below. Let me know what you think. I dig the handlebars, but they do need to be taller. Like, I want to see push this thing to the next envelope on customizing, especially in my little shop. And speaking of shop, you might see this before or after, but I will have a huge shop update. I have decided what the new shop is going to be. I don't know if I've released it yet, but that's coming up soon. Well, guys, I'm signing out. I'm Masses32210, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I didn't do a lot of assembling on this. Just normally I would, but it took me like 3 days between work schedule and home and all. Like I said, pound up that thumbs up like button so we can help this channel grow. And guys, I appreciate every one of y'all for staying by me and watching my videos. Thank you so much.